Patrycja Rozwora, and you're listening to the second part of Kitchen Conversations with Hristina Tasheva. Yeah, I think now would be nice to speak a bit more specific about your works. And I chose 3 of your latest photo books for today. So they are like, the oldest one is from 2015. It's The Woman with the Brown Hair, or Me and My Informant. Then we have The Queen of the Animals and the Most Beautiful Gardens from 2017. And your newest book, In Belief is Power, from last year. And I think we can start with The Woman with the Brown Hair, or Me and My Informant. If you could introduce it a little, what it is for you about.
Shortly, it is semi-autobiographical. And this publication I made after 2 years of experiments and research on migration. Actually, I've tried to visualize the steps somebody like me made from a person that feels a victim from the circumstances, from the position it takes to someone that finds the empowerment in being an artist, reading theoreticians, having this experience as well, and other artists, and empowering itself and becoming a pioneer, somebody that has also the control in its hands and taking another progressive position. That's what's about in this book. I thought I can write a text about this journey, and maybe there will be people that would like to read about this experience, and in a very best case also give them a strength as well.
I think in this book, in this work, as in throughout your practice, you talk about the in-between space. Yes, I would like to hear more about that. What is this space for you?
Yeah, it's the space. I always to visualize that. On the first place, I use the diagram of Venn, and the simplest variant of it are 2 circles that overlap each other. And the space where they overlap, this I experience. This is the expression of this in-between space. The space where Bulgaria, let's say so, and Netherlands overlap, where I can exist, because more and more I feel like this is the only possible psychological space where I can exist, because at one moment I'm not anymore only Bulgarian or only becoming a Dutch, but something in between. So I can have also a different experience and a different view on things that are happening around me, and translate this to people that are not in this position. So mostly of the time my work visualizes this space, and that's obviously not a geographical space. And for this purpose, I'm also the observer and the observed. That's very important, so that I'm not the only one that experience, but also the one who analyzes as observer. And I take different positions and angles to do that.
Would you say the in-between space is getting bigger or smaller with time?
I think it's positive for my life that it takes over, and slowly maybe there will be nothing anymore like only Bulgaria, only the Netherlands. That's something very nice I experience. Yeah.
So maybe it's like overlapping or
totally overlapping with the time. Yeah, yeah. But that's also feels like that you cannot make roots anymore. That you're not really attached to a place, not physically. Psychologically, you can be everywhere. And that's quite hard, actually. Not making roots, not being attached, it's also a point that you achieve through a very difficult process of unrooting.
Of unrooting. And in line with that, what does it mean for you today to come back home?
Yeah, that's not physical anymore, and that could change quite a lot. I have two homes here in the Netherlands and in Bulgaria, and that feels really befrijding. How you say this?
Liberating.
Liberating, yes, because until that moment, I was feeling like I was torturing myself by thinking you have to choose where to live, where to be. But somehow with the time I thought, yeah, that's the wrong question. You have to think you have two homes, you have two places, and there could be a third one if as far as your favorite people that you love are with you. So I start to think more where the people are that I love, and not more what is the place where I have to be. Something like that.
And I think in the second work, The Queen of the Animals and the Most Beautiful Gardens, you touch a little on that. So about the people you love and the family and your relatives. How do they find themselves in the space? So I think again I would like to ask you to tell us, what is this book about for you? The Queen of the Animals and the Most Beautiful Gardens.
Working on this project was the way that I realized what I just said, because until then it was like or you're here or you're there, and there's no way in between. My mother became very ill, and at one moment my father said, now you really have to come back home. And a friend of mine, she said to me, maybe that's why your mother became ill, because you left her alone. So that was like very heavy. How to be with my mother, and in the same time having the life I had until now, my own life, and that was in the Netherlands and is also in the Netherlands. through working on this project, I realized that I can be at both places at the same time. And the guilt, I'm asking a question if I'm guilty towards my parents and my homeland. It is asked more in general. And it is connected to the public discussions that are there, at least in Bulgaria, but I believe they will be existing in other countries like Bulgaria. What is the role of the Bulgarian migrants in Bulgaria? Why they're like sometimes treated as betrayers because they left and parents and homeland behind. That maybe they had to stay and fight for change, to see this country changing towards a better future. So that's moral question is kind of always actual, but what facts are and numbers are telling us is that the Bulgarian migrants are the biggest investor in this country.
In the Netherlands.
In Bulgaria.
In Bulgaria.
Bulgarian migrants in Bulgaria are the biggest investor. So this is how it works.
I'm curious about what do you think about the generational gap between generations growing up in the East, so through the transition, and for example, generations here growing up in the West?
Maybe you can tell about it.
So of course, I think, we are from a bit different generation, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I unfortunately I don't have I don't have an idea from my own experience. What I can say is only from articles that I read, news, and that is that younger people have not so much an idea about the past, the communistic past. But this is also because on a state level, there is not so much to explain younger people about the past, how it really was, and how this influenced our present and their future. And the only person I know at about the age of 18, a girl, what I know about her is her wishes is that she wants to migrate to Germany. First to study there and later maybe to live there. But maybe you have also your experience, although you are coming from another country. I think there are similar things.
Yeah, I feel also I'm very interested
between generations.
I'm also very interested in the topic. However, I was born after the transition, the transformation. So
1994.
1994. So already like few years into the new system. And if I wouldn't be that interested in it, maybe I wouldn't even notice, that there was some completely different past. But the closer I look, the more I see the differences between, let's say, my parents who lived a bit in both, and then my grandparents who were like most of their lives living under communism.
But how much of this was in your history lessons, for example?
I think nothing. I mean, really, this is something I got interested maybe 2 years ago, really more thoroughly. And this was like the history doesn't really cover the last 30 years. It's rather the history before. And which I think is very big pity, because we could understand way more of our own culture. And
and why we have these difficulties nowadays, last 30 years.
And so basically about the generational gap, I feel sometimes it's a bit more difficult to talk and to have the same understanding. And I think this might be connected to different experiences, different what you had and how little there was maybe, and how differently you treat your life now. I don't know.
But what is that difficulties in the communication that you experience? In what way?
I think it's more like that you have to really appreciate everything. There's
not to be critical.
Not to be critical and not to...
That's a good point.
Not to be a bit picky, you know? Like you should be happy with what you have. And I mean, try to take as much as you can and develop, of course, and catch what you really feel like wanting to do. But also not to be too critical, and maybe in that way.
I understand.
I think now we can move to your latest book, In Belief as Power. What did you have in mind when creating this work?
Well, I was critical towards political views and understandings of local politicians, Dutch politicians, and I was fighting with cliches about the question who is the migrant and how this other person is understood. And at one moment there were news about what happens at the border, Turkish-Bulgarian border, how a group of nationalists are hunting after illegal Muslim migrants crossing this European Union border. There are 2 million Bulgarian migrants all over the world. So this country is allowing nationalist groups to hunt Muslim migrants. I was, it was devastating, and I posed some questions to myself, like I start to think what provokes this fear of foreigners in the local population, the Bulgarians. What is the life and history and traditions of this population? I was trying to think, it's also mine history and traditions, but asking questions, I thought to choose a certain area at the border, the Stranja mountain, as also representation of the events that are happening all over Europe. Of course, popped up the question, what is this Bulgarian identity exactly built of? Is there this strange think, is there beautiful nationalism? What would help a vanishing nation preserve itself? I found out also that the Bulgarian nation is the fastest disappearing nation in the world, although there is no war or some other problems like this. Of course, in general, I trying to find what connects us as people. And I decided to go to the place where these events are taking place and to find out because news quite often are influenced by ideologies in the countries. Not trusting to what I was reading, I decided to go and find the truth for myself.
So the image which was portrayed by the Dutch media, right? Because this is how you found out about it?
It was in the Dutch media, but also articles written in England and Bulgarian articles as well. I could read also in the website of these organized nationalists. They're also in English, by the way, because they're kind of sponsored from German and other English as well nationalistic groups, actually from all over Europe.
What's the name of is this like a specific group of people?
No, there are several. There are several, yeah.
And was it somehow striking how the Western, so to speak, or Anglophonic media portrayed this conflict?
What was there, the tension on the nationalists was enormous. I've seen only one BBC program or article that was also telling about the people itself that were living there, because that's different. The local population is something different than the nationalistic groups that are formed. They are coming from all over the country. Mostly the accent was on the nationalistic groups, how they are organized, what they're doing, about their relations to other European groups, nationalistic groups, far right. Even there was a program, a Dutch program, the journalist went to Bulgaria to show also how these groups, people from this group are training, how they think, how they behave. So for me was also the question how I'm going to work on my project. Is it something that I have to continue from the news and integrate from one of these groups, so to be able to experience from the first hand how they think and what they do. But at one moment I decided that this is will be again as it feels like advertisement of these people and their ideology. It felt like not right to do this as well, but what I could do was to research and show the way of living of the local people by this border, because also the border changed several times through the years, and I found it much more interesting, these layers of history at the place, how the people experience all these years of change, and what is their life now, what they believe in. That was much more valuable for me and for my project than to talk again about the nationalists.
Yeah, I like that you chose to go there yourself and really, reveal kind of with your own eyes, with your own camera, the reality of the place. And yeah, I think that is often the case, that the media shows only one very small part of it, the most maybe shocking, the most exciting for for the viewer.
Yeah.
But I think it was very successful, how I see it when I see the book, that you really went there yourself and with your own gaze, also through this both lenses, as a Bulgarian but also as a Dutch, or becoming Dutch. You saw this history.
It is interesting that when I went there, some people saw me as Bulgarian, and other people saw me as somebody different, somebody that doesn't belong there. And here is the same, but I still am only the Bulgarian, and rarely the Dutch. It's how you see people, how you experience them. But it's hard to find out that in Bulgaria I could be also the one that is different, other, the foreigner, although that's my homeland.
In your statement on your website, you write, "Can we build identities based on similarities and not on differences?" I thought this is like a very big question to ask, and I was wondering if you already managed to find some answers or perhaps solutions to that. How can we connect each other by what's similar and not what's different?
I cannot say how. Probably there are a lot of ways to connect. There are a lot of ways to connect, but the question for me is more rhetorical, and what I find really interesting, why we cannot find the similarities, why we're searching for the differences. This is what I try to find out. And how maybe it will be as a result of this research.
And last but not least, I was curious if you can tell a bit about your upcoming work, what you're now working on.
It's again a way to find out who I am. Because I think I will not be able to comment on questions on identity if I don't I don't know myself, if I don't know where I belong and who I am. It started again on a very simple way. I mean that somebody in public called me a communist, a cynical communist, and I...
Was it, can you specify in which context that was?
A Dutch person called me...
That seems very important.
That's important, yeah, that's very important. In the Netherlands, a Dutch person called me a cynical communist. In a bit fury intensive conversation, and at this moment I didn't know how to react. What does this mean? Is it a bad word? But seeing the context, I thought that it would be not a good word to name somebody a communist. It was actually very interesting. For years, this question kept me busy. What it meant, this, and what to do with it actually. And after some years, I decided to find out by researching the history of the Dutch communists in the Netherlands during the Second World War, and in the same time to follow the activities of the Bulgarian communists after the war.
Do you have a title already?
Yeah, I have a title. It's a bit long. It is changing. It's a working title, but it gives me some kind of a grip. Encyclopedia of Pain, the body, the voices, and the periphery. So it's a long one. The Encyclopedia of Pain, the body, the voices, and the periphery.
Yeah, I think it's a long one, but there is a lot to it.
It's very broad, but I will try to keep my research as close to myself as possible, to my own background and interest, and this is how I think to work on it. Otherwise, it's extremely big. Yeah.
Is it the first time you're making a work which will be based in the Netherlands? The research will be based on the Dutch context?
And history, yes, I think so, yeah. And that's very exciting. And also because I almost don't know anything about the Dutch history. And second, because a lot of the literature is, of course, in Netherlands. And this is also the way to improve my Dutch. In Dutch, not in Netherlands, in Dutch. And I find it very good. I'm really happy with this project, to work on such project.
Yeah, very exciting. I'm looking forward. When do you think there will be some, or you don't like to put deadlines?
Oh no, there is a deadline. Yeah, there is definitely a deadline. The project has to become a publication again, an exhibition and a performance. This is what I'm planning as a form for the work. But I hope that in 2024 it will be completed.
Right, so we still have to wait a bit.
Yeah,
but
I'm still in a research phase.
It's a big topic, for sure.
Yeah.
And to finalize, I think already as a tradition, because I did that also in my last interview, I would like to ask about your favorite Bulgarian dish, or something which, taste-wise reminds you of Bulgaria.
Yeah, it's a dish that was made by my grandmothers and my mother, and still I ask for it when I'm there. Only I hope that you're vegetarian. I don't know if you it would be nice to say this, but it's a chicken with rice.
All right.
From the oven. It's made in the oven. It's very simple.
All together? Or?
Yeah. Chicken with rice, and it is prepared in the oven.
How do you?
Very simple.
How do you call it? The dish?
Yeah, simply like this.
And
chicken with rice.
Can you say it in Bulgarian?
Pile suris.
Great. All right. I think we were speaking quite some time. Thank you so much.
It was a long conversation. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I'm happy to have you here. It's a nice day as well, and I hope you like to walk also a bit if you have time.
You were listening to Kitchen Conversations. To find Hristina's favorite Bulgarian recipe as well as the link to her photo books, please see the show notes. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Until next time.
Thank you very much for the nice cookies.
Maybe some Polish touch, I don't know. Maybe they're
How
Polish.
you call them in Polish?
I don't know. Just like, rogaliki z dżemem, you would say.
Rogaliki, рокчета с мармалад.
Yeah, exactly.